Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Doctor's Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. JN Money, from abroad to Yad. And Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orret Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orret Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orret.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and the verdant trees so fair. Today is Friday, the first day of May 2026 here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We do hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may just be your own. I'm going to dispense with my opening comments. And just to remind you that this segment of For the Record brought to you by Coca-Cola and the Credit Union. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands. You should accept no substitutes from generation to generation. Coca-Cola still a Cayman classic. And the Credit Union. The Credit Union looks forward to serving the people of the Cayman Islands for the next 50 years and beyond. So we're going to look at the birthdays, of course. Of course, the segment, the birthday shout-outs, sponsored, like I said, by Coca-Cola and the Credit Union. So we see Mr. Timothy Adams celebrating his birthday today. Also, Mr. Matthew Leslie celebrating his birthday tomorrow. Kath Allman will be celebrating a birthday on the 2nd of May. Also, we see that the late Ernest Smith would have celebrated his birthday today. The 1st of May, was born on the 1st of May, 1945, and sadly passed away on the 16th of April, 2026. Also, we have happy birthday greetings going out to Cabinet Secretary Mr. Samuel Rose, also Camellia Miller, Neptune Johnson, Andrea Christian, Olujimi Lapierre, and Nikolai Hill. They're all celebrating birthdays today as well. So again, I want to wish everyone a happy birthday. If you know someone who's celebrating a birthday or any other momentous occasion, please share that information with us right here on For the Record, and we will give them a shout out. So what we're going to do now at this point in time, we're going to take a commercial break so that we can have our guests in the studio. Just to let you know, we will be talking about preparedness. The launch of today actually is the launch of Preparedness Month 2026 under the theme Preparedness is Power. Be ready every Day. And we're going to have some distinguished guests in the studio with us, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite band-aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. But don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superhero shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Yeah, let me tell you, no AC when I was a boy. I still remember just how good an ice-cold Coca-Cola was.
The part is, the coolest moms and dads always had Coca-Cola or parties.
The sound when you pop the top, and the fizzle, and that, after that first sip.
Coca-Cola, from generation to generation, that ice-cold bubbly. Coca-Cola, still a Cayman classic.
When you join the credit union, you're not just a customer. You're a member owner with one equal vote. As we celebrate 50 years, our members continue to share the benefits. Enjoy strong dividends on shares, competitive loan rates, and the lowest lending fees on the market. Plus, we're the only lender returning up to 2% of loan interest to our members every year. For 50 years, we've helped Caymanians save, borrow, and build brighter futures. That's the credit union difference. Visit creditunion.ky to learn more.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Babe, not tonight. You keep poking me and I need to be rested for meetings tomorrow.
What? I was almost asleep. That's the mattress spring I keep telling you about, not me. We really need to get a new mattress.
Tossing and turning, back hurting, can't sleep? It might be time to turn in your old mattress and go to bed with a new one. Browse the huge mattress showroom at Brand Source Home Gallery and pick the perfect mattress today. With mattresses to suit every budget, Brand Source Home Gallery stocks a wide selection of sizes and styles like pillow top and gel memory foam. So stop tossing and turning and sleep better tonight with a new mattress from Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I'm your host, Orret Connor, and in this segment of the show, we will be talking about preparedness month. Well, it's more than a month. It's actually, and this is the launch today, a 6-week initiative designed to assist our communities with being prepared for all hazards, with a focus on the upcoming 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. This segment will feature the Deputy Governor, Governor Designate, the Director of Hazard Management, Cayman Islands, and the Chief Meteorological Officer, Mr. Kerry Powery. Right.
You have to say it 10 times.
Okay, yes. So, let me give you a little bit of information in terms of the discussion. So, the discussion will focus on strengthening national preparedness across a multi-hazard landscape while the upcoming hurricane season remains an important consideration, this year's campaign broadens the conversation to include other key risk areas such as extreme heat, climate variability, humanitarian considerations, and the wider geopolitical factors that can impact national resilience. So with that, folks, good morning. Welcome. I'm going to say welcome back to For the Record because all of you have been here before. And I just, again, want to say congratulations to the Deputy Governor Designate, Miss Gloria McField-Nixon. You're doing double duty now, as well, because I'm sure that you still have to perform your functions and at the same time, shadowing the DG as well. So, folks, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having us, Mr. Connor.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, DG,
yes.
Kick it off.
Yes. Thank you again for having us. I want to thank Ms. Coleman and her team and hazard management, of course, Kerry over at the Weather Service for all the work that they do every day to get us prepared. And we have a big event coming up soon, the start of the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. And whenever I say the word hurricanes, we all have these memories of Hurricane Ivan, but we are aware that there's a number of people in Cayman who has never experienced a hurricane. Or never experienced a major event. And I love the theme, preparedness is power, be ready every day. And still, as much as we preach, and Ms. Coleman and her team go to hardware stores and talk to people about the importance of preparedness, to have your hurricane supplies put aside, to have a box of dry goods that you're going to use. Whenever we get a event coming our way and we tell people that there's a hurricane warning or a tropical storm warning, the stores get flooded, and everybody start thinking about, I need to be prepared. So our message this morning is to start being prepared now. Not wait until the 1st of June. Don't wait until there is a warning or a watch. Be prepared today.
Okay, and of course, like you pointed out, it isn't seasonal, and it becomes everyone's responsibility as well. DG Designate, want to get a few words in from you early as well.
Thank you so much, sir. So to follow Mr. Manderson's point about being prepared early, the same obviously applies to us within the civil service. Yes. So as you can imagine, and you will remember from your many, many years, sir, this is that time where our departments are preparing their plans, they're updating their preparations for what they do, both for the hurricane season, but they're also looking at their key risks because we know that being prepared is not just a seasonal thing. We had the recent fire at the landfill, and my mind went back to 2020 because the landfill, if I recall, Dani, was the first thing that kicked off. We were followed shortly thereafter by an earthquake.
It was the earthquake first, and then the fire, and then with COVID as well.
And then COVID, a pandemic.
And storms as well that year.
And storms that year. So, our message is also that being prepared for the upcoming start of the hurricane season also gives us an opportunity to be prepared for things that we may not be able to predict. So this is about having a plan in terms of how our departments understand those essential services that need to be able to be resilient and to continue to operate. That includes our essential service teams, but also we're looking at how do we take care of the staff? How do we make sure that for them to be able to be prepared for the country, that they've taken care of their plans? So just like everyone else across the community, we've encouraged them, start getting, your supplies early. The DG mentioned you don't want to be in that long line, the parking lot, the panic. I recall seeing individuals not only buying their canned goods and getting their water, but I once saw someone in Cost You Less who had plants. There was a whole cart full of house plants, and I could only imagine those were emotional support plans going into the storm, right? So you don't want that panic to kick in. So I really encourage individuals to be prepared. Use this time so that you're able to prepare yourself, prepare your families, and for us across the civil service, we're making sure that the civil service is ready to support our community.
Okay. And Ms. Coleman, so we know now that preparedness in this day and age, it has to be a multi-hazard focus, not just focusing on hurricanes, but on other risks as well. And during the course of the conversation this morning, I'm sure that you will also point out to us is there anything new that you have in your toolkit this season that you didn't have last season, as well?
Thanks, AC. And again, good to be on the radio this morning with wonderful colleagues here. Yeah, I think it's really important. We're always expanding and we're always trying to make sure that our tools are, in line with best practice. So we have introduced quite a few new things this year. The IoT flood sensor network is expanding quite dramatically, and we want to keep doing that so we can get real life data from across all 3 islands. Now, again, that's you need a flood sensor quite closely together, so it's going to take a while to do that. But we have got 5. Recently got 5, and we've got a couple more coming. So that's exciting. But also a lot of focus this year on recovery. I know last year, obviously, we had a few near scares, and Melissa was a real close brush for us. And of course, we did a lot of work in Jamaica after. But I think one of the things I remember when the Premier asked me, he said, what is your gut instinct about this storm? I said, well, it's the first time ever I've really focused on the relief and recovery side in my head. And again, I think recovery is so important. So we do have a lot of work going into recovery this year. And of course, as Ms. Gloria mentioned, the business continuity side. There is a legal obligation, obviously, for the civil service to provide business continuity plans to us, and we review those. But also we work with the private sector as well. We're doing a lot of presentations. We want to make sure that the whole of the Cayman Islands is ready to go in any eventuality. As you said, yes, it's coming up to hurricane season, but there are so many other things, as Ms. Gloria mentioned, fired a couple of weeks ago. We've had all sorts of different potentials. We know right now with everything going on with geopolitics that, of course, the impact on food security and the supply chain is an issue. So making sure that we are thinking about all those things to make sure Cayman is as ready as possible for anything that comes our way.
Okay, and I think this is a fine juncture, a timely juncture, to bring in the Weather Service representative and to give us an update in terms of the predicted hurricane season as well.
No problem. Thank you, Wasi, for having me. We know the averages: 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. This year, predictions, at least from the Colorado State University, is slightly below. They have the indicator of El Nino potentially being a major impact on the system. So from their perspective, they're going for 13 named storms, 6 hurricanes, and 2 major hurricanes, just slightly below there. So the range is on average or slightly below, looking across other institutions like the Weather Channel and North Carolina State. NOAA's prediction comes out next month, so we look out for that as well. But we mentioned El Nino, and with those effects, we tend to have excessive heat. And we did do a heat warning or advisory about two weeks ago, suggesting that high temperatures would be a factor going into the rainy season or hurricane season as well. So again, in the theme of preparedness, hurricanes is just one factor. It may have multiple hazards involved, but in our everyday life, we may be struggling with heat waves, heat stress, other flooding events not related to any tropical cyclone. So being prepared is key, and being informed is your first step to being preparedness. And through our teamwork and collaboration with government, we put out the message, and we hope the public understands, and we continue to work to make sure that we get the messaging right to provide the right level of information without causing panic, and making sure that the public can action from our advisories.
And for those who are curious, like myself, and I've asked this question before, in terms of your new digs, your new headquarters, where can you update us in terms of where we're at with that? Will you be able to occupy it for hurricane season?
We're unfortunately facing some challenges. The aim was the start of the hurricane season, so it's kind of still early hurricane season that we're looking to move in.
Okay, excellent. So, DG, a lot of government's preparation, some of it happens in the open, especially if you're in a government building that requires shuttering and everything else, but a lot of work goes on behind the scenes as well. Lots of challenges. I say, for instance, Customs and Border Control. We know the population of the Cayman Islands has increased and continues to increase, because of workers coming here. And like what was pointed out before, some people have experienced hurricanes, some have not. Some have experienced other types of events, and many have not. Danielle has spoken about working with the private sector partners in terms of making them aware so that their staff is aware. But can we talk about what happens behind the scenes within government?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So, as the Deputy Governor Designate said, the ministries and portfolios are all doing their preparedness plans to understand exactly what they will do in the event that we need to pivot, we need to shut down, we need to work from home to keep the business running. But for some key things for us, for example, we engage very early with our passport office and ask them to get messaging out quickly, timely, and consistently to the public to talk about getting your travel documents up to date. Whenever we have a emergency, you start people running. I don't have a ESTA. I don't have a waiver. My police record, my passport need to get renewed. So it's getting some key messages around that to people. Chief Officer Howell and the team in as you said, in Ministry of Cayman Employment, they pay close attention to the nationalities that we have here, engaging with the consulates through Ms. Dani's office, the governor's office, to make sure they understand the nationals that they have there, keeping them up to date in the case that we have to evacuate, making sure their passports are being kept up to date. And then the CEO, Michael E. Banks, and the team at CBC, they monitor very closely the tourists that are here and the numbers. And again, if we need to evacuate, make sure we have plans in place to be able to get people off the island in a timely manner. So those are just a couple of things that go on behind the scenes that is very important that we have a plan in place that we can execute very quickly. But again, it's about being ready. So and again, I want to give a big shout out to Ms. Janice McLean and her team in the passport office.
Yes.
They do a really amazing job. And I'm asking the public, do not get to a situation where you're lined up over there because your passport is about to expire, or that your waiver is, you need a new waiver. Get these things now. ESTAs, has been, for United States, has been taking a bit longer. Normally you get it back in 2 hours. Now it maybe take a bit longer. So, my wife reminded me that my ESTA is expiring in June. So, this weekend I am going to renew my ESTA. We ask people to take personal responsibility, but then our ministries and portfolios are also doing a lot of work behind the scenes. I'm sure the Deputy Governor Designate can speak about that.
Ms. Gloria?
That's one of her major responsibilities. Make it happen.
Thank you so much, DG. So one of the things that we've talked a lot about the way that we are taking care of the population that is resident in Cayman but originates elsewhere. But we also know that much of the places that our community lives are low-lying, and they rely very heavily on making sure that the drains that have been installed have all been cleared ahead of the season, so that we can provide that extra resilience that can help us manage floods. We also have a a very hardworking team at Department of Environmental Health, so Mr. Richard Sims and his team, and they do a lot of work not only to provide the normal collection, but for those areas that we know are prone to flooding, they will put in extra surge support to try to get any sort of debris and garbage out of there before we have major storms coming. So a lot of teams that respond to increase the community's preparedness for that. We also do a lot regarding scenario planning. So my team that's responsible for payroll, we're looking at severity of storm, the proximity to payroll dates, so that we can make sure that our first responders and the civil service generally have the resources that they need. We really emphasize, do this ahead of time because being able, for so many of us, our families, if we're able to spread out the way that we're preparing over these months and not all have it hit us in the 3 days before a storm, it's a lot easier on our budgets. And we know so many of our civil servants, like our community, are not only caring for their own household, but maybe caring as well for other elderly parents and so forth. So we talk to them about their personal plans. We have our systems in place so that we know ahead of time where everyone's going to be positioned, their emergency contact numbers, because we want to do our wellness checks right after a storm, but also the ability to quickly mobilize our teams. And while we have a strong cadre of people who are our first responders, after a major event, every civil servant becomes a responder to get our community up and running. So we're very much using this time to remind them of what that might mean after a major event.
Okay. And this may be a good opportunity for us to remind people also, because you mentioned DEH and the bulk waste pickup has started, now as well, and starting in the District of West Bay. That is an opportunity for people to get rid of those things that could become a hazard during a hurricane, as well.
Yes, very intentional move. We used to do this, you remember, just at the Christmas season, and the team rightly assessed that preparing our communities by getting that bulk waste out ahead of the storm season would be a huge benefit to the community.
And Danielle, DG mentioned travel documents, passports, getting your ESTA in time. When you do have those documents as well, let's talk about what people should do, how they should ensure that they are secure.
Everyone loves a good Ziploc bag. I buy a lot more Ziploc bags at this time of year just as a precaution. I think it's making sure your supplies are looked at. Again, we talk about hurricane supplies. I don't think they're hurricane supplies anymore. I do think they're all hazard supplies. You should have a box of goodies throughout the whole year that will, if something does happen, like we have a big earthquake or we have a COVID scare, whatever it might be, that everyone's ready to go and they don't need to necessarily run out of the shops and so forth. So, making sure that you have supplies. We have some great ideas on our website. But again, it's also a personalised thing. Everyone has personalised needs. It might be medication, for example. It might be whatever it might be that is important to you as a family. If you have pets, obviously there's specific requirements there, or children. So making sure that you've tailored the list towards your own needs, checking your supplies from last year, if you had a box last year or this year, and making sure that everything's up to date. Paperwork is really important, as DG mentioned. It's like, there's nothing worse than trying to get a passport when you're under very extreme conditions and so forth. So checking all that, even things like vaccinations. I mean, I remember after Ivan, the queue for the tetanus injections was quite significant at HSA. So making sure you're checking your vaccination cards, you've got your plans in place, the family understand what would happen if there is a specific, like Cat 5, for example, coming our way. Do you plan to evacuate? And, what contacts you have out there and where would you plan to go? If you plan to stay, what shelter will you go to? We've done a lot of work right now with the shelter assessments with our partners from Public Works and facilities and health services and so forth, and making sure they're ready to go. But there's always going to be a shortage of shelters given our population. So making sure you identify which shelter you go to. If you have specific needs, for example, medical needs, you want to go to an emergency medical centre, or you go to a house or again, a public building that, a business that, you have a contact with. We work very closely with some of the law firms and accountancy firms to make sure that they can take on their staff. So knowing what you'll do, knowing what supplies you have currently, knowing what you need to buy, as Miss Gloria mentioned, cost of living in Cayman is quite hard for a lot of people right now, pretty much for everyone. So I think it's really important to make sure that you are buying now your supplies just a little bit at a time to make sure that you don't blow your entire monthly salary on it. But again, just bit by bit to make sure you're ready to go June 1st. And again, we're very happy to help in any shape or form, be it helping you supplies or training or so forth.
Okay, so we are going to go to our 8 o'clock news. When we return, Mr. Powery, we know now AI is playing such a huge role into everything that we do. One of the challenges that we have when there's inclement weather approaching is people becoming their own weather person or distributing information that is coming from possibly unreliable sources. So we want to talk about what people should rely on, what systems, what agencies they should rely on, and talk about your forecasting, what you do, how it has improved over the years. I remember, and Mr. Manderson was there as well, during Hurricane Ivan. We were on Mr. Sambula's case because we were saying, you said this was supposed to happen at this point in time. Why hasn't it happened? So when we return, we're going to talk more about the role of the Cayman Islands National Weather Service as well. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. So much that you need to know about preparedness. So for the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. MPs are heading back to Parliament this morning at 10:30 a.m.
Another productive sitting. In the middle, there were some mild fireworks, but I think we got past that, and it ended on a positive and collaborative note. So I'd like to thank all members for all of their good work.
Premier the Honourable Andre Ebanks there. Most of Thursday was spent dealing with opposition matters, including 10 parliamentary questions and 6 private members' motions. The sole bill expected to be tabled and debated, the Development and Planning Amendment Bill 2026, brought by opposition MP Chris Saunders, was withdrawn before the sitting adjourned for the night. On the docket today, the tabling of several annual reports, 10 parliamentary questions, and debate on the Public Transport Amendment and Validation Bill. You can listen to today's proceedings live by heading to our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM. $6 million in the 2026 budget and $2 million in 2027 to, quote, implement a 4-step plan to tackle issues at Cayman's landfills, with the Minister for Environmental Health saying work is already underway.
We have a clear path forward, a structured plan to improve landfill operations and reduce what we send to the landfill while we build what we need for the future. By the end of this year, we expect the regen exit to be concluded and the steering committee to produce the first strategic outline case for a modern waste management system for these islands.
A major fire shuttered businesses and closed the Esterly-Tibbetts Highway earlier this month. And speaking in Parliament on Thursday, the Honourable Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes assured the public that waste management is a top priority. Going forward, a big part of the plan will be reducing the amount of garbage that heads into the landfill in the first place, adding that more than 40% of all waste comes from, quote, commercial activity, and 2/3 of that is recyclable, prompting government to introduce mandatory commercial recycling.
We are investing in a new material recycling facility to increase our sorting and processing capacity by 2029. We are also expanding residential recycling depots and developing public education campaigns on responsible disposal of waste. We have issued drafting instructions to ban the import of 8 commonly used single plastic items.
And the final part of the plan, building a permanent solution solution. The minister says a new engineered landfill will be built on Crown land next to the current tipping area that will extend the operational life of the landfill through 2036, quote, provided there are no major hurricanes.
We are developing a modern, integrated waste management solution for the Cayman Islands. The steering committee will be in place by summer. We expect to reach the outline business case stage where the preferred solution, its cost, land requirements, and environmental performance are defined by the fall of 2027.
You can rewatch her full statement on the CIGTV YouTube channel. Now, the Department of Environmental Health is also looking for a partner to help remove waste tires from all landfills. Currently, used automotive and heavy equipment tires are being stored at landfills on Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman. And there's no method locally available for their disposal or recycling. And they hold, quote, little to no value and require substantial processing to be reused. The DEH says the tires cannot be landfilled due to difficulties in burying and the associated risks of landfill fires. As a result, they're being stockpiled and space is running out. To address this issue, the DEH has issued a tender for a company capable of transporting approximately 5,700 tons of tires to another jurisdiction for recycling, with a completion date set for mid-December. For more details, head to cayman.bonfirehub.com. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Moira Alderson. Ukraine has struck oil infrastructure in the Russian Black Sea port city of Tuapse for the fourth time in the last 2 weeks. Russia's local operational headquarters said a sea terminal had been set on fire. The French news agency says the Malian army and its Russian mercenary allies have surrendered a strategic military post in the far northeast to Islamist rebels and Tuareg separatists. The rebels are also closing in on the capital Bamako in the southwest. A new Danish study suggests weight loss jabs like Ozempic and Wegovy could also help people struggling with alcohol dependency. The scientists say the appetite-suppressing effects could also influence the mechanisms underlying addiction. That's the latest. BBC News.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Are you a Caymanian with a great tourism idea? The Visitor Experience Development Grant Program is offering successful applicants up to $50,000 to help them launch a new and unique tourism product or service in the Cayman Islands. Don't miss this opportunity to bring your idea to life and contribute to Cayman's growing tourism industry. Apply today at orcayman.ky/VEDGP.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Brought to you by UHealth International, University of Miami Health System. International patients go to UHealth International for consultations with renowned physicians, advanced treatment technologies, leading-edge medical therapies, and state-of-the-art surgical procedures. Whatever your particular reason for going to UHealth International, you will receive customized medical care delivered within a compassionate, multicultural setting. The care you need when you need it.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first. Well, good morning, Cayman. It's Friday, May 1st. Let's take a look at your weather on the outside. Some partial cloud cover, mostly sunny. Present temperature 81 degrees Fahrenheit, but it feels like about 89. Winds are out of the east at 7 miles per hour. Relative humidity 86%. The barometric pressure is at 29.88 inches and dropping. Synopsis as provided by the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. A weak ridge of high pressure remains over the northern Caribbean at this time, accompanied by a mostly dry and stable atmosphere, maintaining warm and dry conditions. The chances for shower activity is expected to remain low as a result of limited moisture. Radar imagery shows no showery activity at this time. Our forecast for today calls for mainly sunny skies with a low chance of showers. Temperatures will rise near the upper 80s with a heat index near 98 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Looking at later tonight, mostly clear skies with a low chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s. Winds will be easterly at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. High tide is coming up in the hour at 8:38. It's going to be low at 3:07 this afternoon and high at 10:08 tonight. Sunset later on this evening at 6:47, and the outlook is for similar conditions through Sunday morning. Thereafter, the chances for showers will increase slightly as a prefrontal trough is forecast to develop ahead of a frontal boundary over southern Florida. That, my friends, is your latest weather update brought to you by our good friends at CG Britke.
If you have an objection to this marriage, speak now or forever hold your...
Don't do it, Tevin! I still love you. I have since the day we stole your mom's car and got matching dolphin tattoos.
Oh, Lordy. Janelle? From spring break 08?
Yes, it's me.
Janelle, you've got to move on.
We're like the wedding guest that doesn't ruin the ceremony. CG Britke. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britke, where people come first.
Craving something bold, juicy, and packed with flavor? Introducing KFC's new crispy barbecue sandwich served on a soft, buttery brioche bun. That's 100% KFC premium chicken breast, perfectly crispy, deliciously smoky with crispy onions, cheddar cheese, and barbecue sauce. Just the right amount of messy in the best way possible. Stacked with layers of bold KFC flavor, this sandwich is your new obsession. But hurry, it's only at KFC for a limited time. So what are you waiting for? Get yours today at any of the 3 KFC locations on island. KFC, finger licking good, just got bolder.
Got plant problems? DOA got solutions. The Department of Agriculture is proud to launch its monthly plant clinic, taking place every second Saturday, starting April 11th. Bring your samples and get professional advice on pests, diseases, and overall plant health. Perfect for home gardeners and commercial farmers alike. Visit doa.gov.ky/latest-news to learn more.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
All right, once again, good morning to you, Cayman. It's a nice Friday and looking forward to the long weekend. But let's take a look at the traffic situation right now. If you're coming out of the Eastern Districts, traffic is flowing smoothly. Looking at the East-West Arterial, things are moving fine. Similar to the Red Bay roundabout with traffic coming out of the Prospect Red Bay area. And getting to the Century 21 roundabouts, a little bit of slow up of traffic there, but things are moving smoothly. To make your way to the CUC roundabouts along the Linford Pearson or Crew Road. But of course, getting into the Georgetown area, things actually get to a crawl and stop. Some stop and go traffic there on Crew Road, looking out from Josie's gas station. And of course, out there on the Linford Pearson, off to the Bobby Thompson Way and on to the four-way stop. Of course, expect the usual traffic at those lights. Still some slow-moving traffic along Huldah Avenue to the CNB roundabout. And of course, getting to the Thomas Russell Way to the Butterfield roundabout, things seems to be fair to find. Not much traffic in that area. Traffic moving smoothly along Godfrey-Nixon Way, North Sound Road, heading up to the S. Lee Tibbetts. I'd like traffic coming off the S. Lee Tibbetts as well. So things on the S. Lee Tibbetts, of course, moving smoothly. Of course, getting up to the Camana Bay area, expect some kind of traffic at those areas, but still moving smoothly. Most traffic in the Georgetown area seems fair to find, light traffic. Of course, out there on South Church Street, Seafarers Way, North Church Street, West Bay Road. No cruise ships in port, so traffic should be flowing smoothly out there. And most streets inside Georgetown, fair to find. Cayman Brack, Little Cayman, light traffic this time of the morning. We urge you to buckle up, stay safe, look out for those pedestrians, those on e-scooters, e-bikes, motorbikes, bicycles, and have yourself a fantastic long weekend. The traffic report brought to you by our good friends at Subway.
Start your year off right with Subway's Fresh Fit menu. 4 protein-packed subs with 20 grams or more protein, under 500 calories, and loaded with full servings of crisp veggies on hearty multi-grain bread. Try the grilled chicken and avocado, the ham and turkey stacker, the seasoned steak and avocado, or the turkey and ranch delight. Big flavor, plenty of protein, and fresh veggies in every bite. Fuel your day the Fresh Fit way. Only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Beach and Reggae Sundays on Breeze 105.3 FM from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health. 2 locations, Governor Square and Grand Harbor. Governor Square open Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Grand Harbor open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and open on Sundays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 947-8900 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky.
With Orret Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. For those of you who are just joining us, government has embarked on its 2026 preparedness campaign, the theme of which is Preparedness is Power, Be Ready Every Day. From my old Cubs and Scout days, our motto, Be Prepared. As well. So, Preparedness 2026 is a 6-week initiative to assist our communities with being prepared for all hazards with a focus on the upcoming 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. Just a little bit of housework. If you have any questions or comments, we are welcoming you or encouraging you to send your questions or comments in to our WhatsApp number 925-3261. This way I can pass that on to our panel in the studio. And of course, our panel consists of the Honorable Franz Manderson, Deputy Governor of the Cayman Islands, Deputy Governor Designate, Miss Gloria McField-Nixon, Director of Hazard Management, Cayman Islands, Ms. Danielle Coleman, and Mr. Kerry Powery, and I'm going to say this slowly, the Chief Meteorological Officer at Cayman Islands Weather Service. So before we went to our 8 o'clock news, we welcomed Mr. Powery to talk about their service with the I won't say the advent of AI because it's been around a long time, but now it is so prominent that I'm sure that everyone will want to be their own weather forecaster as well. Talk about some of the challenges and what we here in the Cayman Islands should be relying on as far as our news about weather is concerned. Mr. Powery.
Okay, thank you for the question. You mentioned AI has become a prevalent factor. The National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida is actually starting to integrate some AI products, and they actually continue to evaluate upcoming private sector AI modeling. The last one that they were working with last year for the first time was Google DeepMind. And from the information presented by the National Hurricane Center, that seemed to have performed well last year.
Okay.
Again, the human factor and the expertise from National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida, still outperformed them, even though just slightly. But again, that goes to show that you still need to have that human interaction. Though the quite small nuances that a machine can't really handle. And then there's no guarantee that the next time the model runs, it will function well. So you have to be constantly evaluating the outputs from these models. The European Center also has some AI modeling, and NOAA itself is going to start producing some AI outputs as well. Again, the AI thing is it allows, it's based on the fundamentals of the traditional modeling, but they're using more machine learning, so it's easier to use, easier to build, essentially. But again, because it's easier, there might be some errors creeped in because of the machine learning aspects. They can't really sometimes discern which model or scenario is actually happening. So just ensemble modeling is giving you different scenarios, and they're trying to, if for lack of a better word, average those errors out to give a projection. So that's from the Hurricane Center. Again, they do their own manual input, and they provide for the Atlantic region and Eastern Pacific. They are the official source to making the forecasts and the predictions. For locally, the National Weather Service has that responsibility. And when it comes to designating whether the Cayman Islands are in a watch warning, that's a decision from Deputy Governor and the government to say that the Cayman Islands are under a watch or warning. And we communicate that directly to NHC, and you will see that information in our bulletins. So if you want the larger scale information, you could see the information from National Hurricane Center. If you want tailored information for the Cayman Islands, you come to the National Weather Service, and through our partners like Radio Cayman and government, HMCI, will distribute what we anticipate these forecasts are and the related impacts to the Cayman Islands. Again, it's an evolving process. Again, we'll continue to do our best. We recently had a training session with the Department of Com and HMCI for us, the National Weather Service, to try to reevaluate our hurricane plan. So we try to collaborate a little more efficiency, speed up the messaging, and make sure we're singing from the same hymn sheet during the event of the storm. So again, from our perspective, that allows us to reduce the level of stress, because again, we're forecasting for the whole country, plus we are forecasting for our families as well. So if we get it wrong, we get it from the public and we get it at home.
Yes. I think it's a really good point there. Again, the following the verified official sources, because of course we can't afford to get it wrong. So we have to make sure that what we're putting out there is real. You often see things leading up to a storm, and they have these different models, and one model might say it's coming straight through the Cayman Islands. Well, actually, that's one model, and we have to make sure we're analysing. I say we, the royal we being the weather guys, analysing this with NOAA to make sure that actually it's the risk is high enough. So you may realise that we don't always put out a warning, well, not a warning, sorry, a notice very, very like a week beforehand. Yes, we're monitoring it at all times. Obviously, we're monitoring it. It's our job. But, we can't cry wolf over and over again. So we have to be quite clear as to when we do these notifications. The one thing I do want to mention, the AI element. AI is brilliant, but at the same time, we've seen over the last year in particular with Jamaica, Melissa's situation, a lot of the photographs coming out were not actually official photographs. So it's really important, one thing we've got to make sure what we're doing, what we're responding to, be it in Cayman or our regional neighbours, is legit. And of course, when photographs look so real, it's hard to verify if they are real or fake. So again, we're just strongly encouraging the public to always follow the official channels and not get too caught up in the 10 days in advance as a storm coming to Cayman, because really it's way too early to tell at that point, and we just got to make sure that we're prepared throughout the whole season and the whole year for any eventuality.
For the benefit of our audience, can you explain the various stages, what they mean in terms of a watch and alert and whatever? I remember, the old days they used to use flags, as well.
Yes, we technically start off with the alert stage at 72 hours. That's an estimate of when the tropical storm force wind should begin impacting your area.
Okay.
Right. So alert is 72. A watch is 48 hours. Same criteria from the wind starting to begin to affect in your area. And then our warning is at 36 hours out. So that's our alert, watch, warnings. And then obviously you have the impact phase. And even last year, we discussed it, the gray, the assessment period. You will see from our color scheme, we have a gray template. Mm-hmm. Essentially, that gives our assessors, first responders, a time to assess the conditions out in the road before the government feels comfortable enough to issue the green, all clear. And because, again, previously we had problems where the all green is issues and the gates open and everybody's on the road. Yes. And at the same time that we have crews trying to repair lines, repair
assessments.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you will see a grade template indicating that this is an assessment period. We try to make it as short as possible, but it'll take whatever time it takes.
And sorry, just to say, the assessment period is not just weather related, it's also, as Kerry says, it's going out, making sure our utilities are up, that there's no dangerous conditions on the road, that the flooding isn't an issue. So our teams from planning, for example, Lands and Survey, all those guys go out and make sure, and our private sector partners, Water Authority, CUC, are very much part of that process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. DG and DG Designate. One of our listeners has written and said a question in respect of the hurricane season, which is there an opportunity for government employees to be paid sooner instead of the 20th to the 15th in order to get better prepared? I guess that could work in both ways as well, depending on when the hurricane hits.
Yes, sir. And Gloria, over to you.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So, we've talked about when we have a day like today that's sunny, there's no storm coming, we're saying let's not squander this opportunity to begin our preparations. We know we're going into a hurricane season, and although we are very grateful to have the forecast showing a slightly lesser forecast of intensity and number of storms, we have learned that it only takes one. So we are urging everyone to definitely use this time so you don't have all of your preparations hitting you in just one paycheck. I will say, though, that our standard plans call for, based on the severity of the storm and the proximity to when payroll would be taking place, that we do have the ability to release payroll early, and that is actually a part of our longstanding plans.
Okay.
Mr. Coleman, I just want to touch on something. Mm-hmm. We were talking about AI, and the team talked about the importance of reliability. If you ask me something that I'm concerned about, fake news is really a concern to me. I last went to a hurricane conference, many years back, and I remember going to visit one of the Florida hurricane bunkers that they had. Mm-hmm. And they showed us they have a team of persons that their only job is to respond to fake news because they see so much of it during an event. I remember when we had that hurricane that went into New York City, there was a picture of a shark, swimming down Wall Street, not true. And that was then. Can you imagine today with the advancements of AI? So I can't stress enough the importance of listening to our weather service, listening to official government sources. Do not, find some nice, cute modeling that's going to tell us something completely different. Use official government sources. And then I just want to talk to people. We talked about preparedness, but please think about your pets.
Yes.
Ms. Dani can tell us about the shelters with that, but I have this conversation with my daughter all the time, and I said, I want you all, if there is ever a category, 5 hurricane coming, I want you all to go off island. She said, I'm not leaving my pets. I'm not leaving my dog. So if you are going to risk your life to stay with your dog, I think you should have a plan.
Yes.
To make sure that you're both safe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a great point, DG. Again, pets, children, there's different vulnerabilities there. And, of course, pets do require a bit of planning, be it shipping, because I know I had a cat and Ivan disappeared for 6 months. Came back much nicer animal than she did when she left, but that's besides the point. But again, it's also things like, specific family requests, things like if there's addiction issues, if there's medication issues, if there's illnesses, whatever that might be, you really need to cater towards your specific family situation and, more importantly, perhaps towards your community situation. We really want to encourage people to help each other, and of course that's helping your neighbour, your someone down the road from you who may not be quite as fortunate as you are.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we want to talk about evacuation plans, especially in the private sector, those companies that may have evacuation plans, how important it is for them to share that information with the relevant authorities, because that means then less numbers that you have to account for. And then we want to talk about some of our assets that we have in the Cayman Islands now that we didn't have before, like, for instance, in Hurricane Ivan. We want to talk about our regiment. We want to talk about, of course, we had Cayman Airways then, and that was so extremely important, how the importance of it still. The other air assets that we have now that we didn't have before as well. And then we also want to talk about, we have an aging population in the Cayman Islands, and each season those numbers ramp up somewhat. And what are some of the initiatives, some of the concerns that we may have, and how our listeners and our viewers can address those issues as well. So folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit cineco.ky today. Cineco. Keeping Cayman covered.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Hello, this is KK Elise from Swanky Kitchen Band, and I just want to say happy anniversary to Radio Cayman. Thank you for being the soundscape of our lives for the last 50 years. I have so many fond memories of Radio Cayman, and you're still my favorite radio station today. So happy anniversary and God bless.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have less than a half an hour to go in this segment of the show. We are talking about the 2026 preparedness campaign. That conversation is taking place with the Honorable Franz Manderson, Deputy Governor of the Cayman Islands, Deputy Governor Designate, Ms. Gloria McField-Nixon, Director of Hazard Management, Cayman Islands, Ms. Danielle Coleman, and Mr. Kerry Powery from the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. So in addition to those things that I mentioned before we went to the commercial break, one of our listeners has also written in and asked the question, will you be using wireless notifications to persons' phones once you're in a range of a telephone tower?
Okay, I'll briefly mention the NENS app. So there's a couple of things that we have from our office as far as emergency notification early warning systems go. The first one, obviously, is phase one, was the radio interrupt, which means we can interrupt all radios at any time of day. Obviously, we appreciate people aren't necessarily listening to the radio. Even radio came out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So we have what we call an app, NENS, at gov.ky, and it's again, just come on. If you haven't downloaded that app already, please do so, because it really could save your life. In a hurricane, we would use it if there was sort of rapid intensification. We'd use a loud alert. If it was just business as normal, we'd do a soft notification. So there's various different alerting levels that we can do. But in an earthquake, we'd use it, obviously, or a tsunami, or whatever that might be. But we really need the public to do that. I think right now we've got 11,000 people have downloaded the app. We know Cayman now has about 85, 90,000 people. So
that's right.
At the end of the day, we need more people to download that. And we're here to help you download that. My IT abilities are pretty lame, and we have a great technical support team at Hazard Management to help you with that. We're also working very closely with Digicel and Flow to make sure that SMS system is up and running and very, very quick to send out messages. And ideally speaking, our aim is to get to the cellular broadcast, which of course would encompass all of the notifications, be it if you're arriving on a cruise ship, you still get that notification. But of course, there are other methods. We're always on the radio during the seasonal hurricane. We've also got very lively social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. We've also obviously got our www.caymanprepared and the government sites and the weather sites. So there's a lot of information coming out at all times, but the notification obviously is something that's really, really important, and we'd strongly encourage everyone to do their part to download the app. And again, we're here to help.
Okay, and while you have the mic, Danielle, evacuation plans.
Okay, evacuation plans. Now, obviously in Ivan, we saw a lot of the businesses evacuating the companies out. I think we speak very regularly with a lot of these businesses, and I know now most of them are of the opinion that they'd wait till after the storm unless it was a significant event. I think there's so many near misses, and if they were to get and evacuate their staff on a regular basis, it might be 2-3 times a year at times. So obviously the expense of that is significant. So we work very closely with them. We're trying to encourage all businesses to become a shelter for their own staff. And again, have those evacuation plans afterwards. Certain businesses will obviously evacuate the staff beforehand if the risk permits it. But again, they're very much part of a bigger network. So under the National Emergency Operations Centre, we have the Evacuation Emergency Support Team. We meet fairly regularly, particularly in hurricane season. And that also has the Department of Tourism. It also has the consular agencies. So there's a large number of us talking to make sure that if evacuation is needed, surge capacity is there. But just a reminder to everyone, if you're not if there's not a carrier for your company, for example, and you do want to evacuate, you need to book those flights very, very early, because it is a first come, first served basis. And again, with airlift the way it is, a lot of people would have to remain on island. So if there's a Cat 5 coming and you plan to evacuate, make sure you plan early and get those tickets.
Okay, so let's talk about all the other assets that we have in the Cayman Islands now as well. Or we have a regiment. We have the police helicopters, as well. Can we, DG?
Yes,
DG Designate?
sir. I think we have done a tremendous job over the years. Lots of lessons learned from Hurricane Ivan, and the government, successive governments, has invested heavily in preparedness. As you said, we have not one but 2 police helicopters, though we were not present. And then I think probably one of the biggest changes that we've made and one of the biggest improvements we've made is the regiment, having about 80 or 90 strong persons that can be deployed to help us around the island. They have been building their capacity with various pieces of equipment, doing training. We have a new head of the regiment now, and he has been doing a tremendous job. We bid Colonel Carter farewell not too long ago. We want to thank him for his service. But having the regiment is likely a game changer for us in terms of having a dedicated group of persons that can get out in and helping our emergency service with search and rescue, clearing the roads, doing everything they can to assist us. And of course, Ms. Dani and her team standing up our CERTs, our community emergency response teams, getting them all trained, people in the community. We don't know where all our elderly are. We don't know where persons who are shut-ins. Again, those CERT teams can have that ability to go and check on people, but also to help with some, small work that is needed. So I think we have done a tremendous job in keep getting us prepared, and it's for the public now to do their part.
Ms. Gloria?
Just to add to that as well, that in addition to the new resources that have been brought to the table, one of the ways that the Cayman Islands is really blessed is we continue to have our national airline.
Yes.
And Cayman Airways has been a huge lifeline in any sort of emergency situation. When we talk about our evacuation plans, Cayman Airways plays a huge part in that. Remember, we have 3 islands that we are keeping safe, and for our populations in our sister islands, Cayman Airways is again a key part of how we facilitate evacuations there, as well as being able to get critical resources into those islands after a storm. So that's a huge plus. And we've also had the implementation and installation of our radar. So we have more information that we're able to get in real time locally as well. So there's been so much things that have been enhanced and improved from when you would have gone through, Hurricane Ivan, as we all went through that, not just in terms of our preparedness for how we got ready for the storm, but really that recovery phase as well. Significant investments to allow us to do that.
Mr. Power, you want to, since Ms. Gloria invoked the radar?
Yes. Again, since Ivan, our radar facility has been in place since late 2012, officially operating since 2013. Last year, we did a refurbishment, remedial works for the actual structure of the building and the upgrade. Up to last week, we actually had some training on the newer software of the radar. So we anticipate to see some tweaks to the products on our website. And talking about our website, again, that was a challenge back in the day. Our team at CSD had complications with the number of hits our website used to take when storms were active. So we were pushed aside to find our own platform, and we have, and we are actually redesigning, and we expect to relaunch an upgraded or re-improved website. I'll say next week. So you'll see some new products, new displays. And in terms of other equipment that we have, we are in the process of installing 4 automatic weather stations to give us readings across all 3 islands. We have one already in next to our new headquarters, and we'll add one in West Bay, one in Frank Sound, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman. So we should have real-time live data to be able to assess the development changes in relation to weather throughout the season. And there are other little works going inside where we're testing some higher resolution modeling to be able to provide additional products to the public. So those are work in progress, so I can't give you a good deadline on those at the moment. But we continue to try to develop as best we can with the resources that has been provided for us.
And you're doing a fantastic job, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Can I just piggyback on that?
Sure.
Again, data, I think one of our favorite comments in hazard management is data is the new oil. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, we have to be making sure our decisions are based on evidence and they're based on data. And I think we've all come a long way in ensuring that data is available. So in the NEAC and our office, if anyone comes to our office, you'll see data up all over. All the screens are covered with different data for different things. We've designed a lot through mitigation programs, so flooding maps. We work very closely with the Land and Survey, with DOE. We look at the bathymetry data. We look at low-lying areas. We look at, I guess, tsunami evacuation areas, high areas. So that data coming through. We've done a lot of work with the agriculture team to look at, for food security purposes, the NEST programs. There's a lot of that work that's going on to ensure that our decisions are based on evidence and that, we can continue to progress and be, best practice. And I think a lot of, when we talk to our regional counterparts, a lot of that stuff is quite impressive because it is very technical. Mm-hmm. And it does, it's certainly not my technical mind, but it's others in our team that really have got that technical abilities to ensure that we're always pushing ourselves to be based on data and evidence.
Excellent. With that, we're going to take our last commercial break, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Sunday, May 10th at 7 p.m. Join us at the Lion Center in Grand Cayman for Tribute to Mothers, featuring the legendary The Hoppers and Chris Blue, Season 12 winner of The Voice, along with William White, the Williams family, and the CIC Youth Choir, proudly supported by the Office of the Premier, the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage, the Ministry of District Administration and Home Affairs, Radio Cayman 89.9, and Praise 87.9 FM. Gates open at 6 p.m. Tickets $25 pre-sold, $30 at the gate, $10 for children, and VIP $50. Get your tickets at Funky Tang's, Cayman Islands Conference Office, and in your local churches. Tribute to Mothers, May 10th at the Lion Center.
For the Record with Orret Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. For those of you who wonder, what do we do during a commercial break in the studio? Well, in this last one, we were just talking about King Charles' visit to the United States, the fact that he's in Bermuda now, and talking about his speech to the joint sitting of Congress as well. But what we're going to talk about now before we close off the show is that we know that the UK has a ship that is stationed. Is it all year round now, Danielle, or only during the hurricane season?
Usually during the hurricane season.
During the hurricane season. We know what we experienced after Hurricane Ivan because of the devastation throughout the Caribbean. When they got here, there was really nothing that they could offer tangibly other than the ability to do the air reconnaissance and things of that nature. But some of our Caribbean countries, Bermuda included, the Cayman Islands, we would say Turks and Caicos, most overseas territories are doing well from a financial standpoint. Some still rely on the UK to a certain extent. And whether or not we need to be looking to see what we can do collectively as overseas territories to ensure that we have a permanent fixture, like, for instance, a vessel or two with the ability to respond after an event. I'll throw it out there.
Yeah, Mr. Quinland, I think that's absolutely correct in that we should be trying to be as self-sufficient within the region as possible. So myself and the Deputy Governor Designate, we have our annual Deputy Governors Conference in Bermuda next month. And, given that you have raised this issue, I think we're going to add that to our agenda to see how we can have a MOU around assistance with each other. Now we do it around relationships, but I think it's important that we formalize it and then look to see how we can, as you said, maybe we should have our own supply ship, or maybe we should have some other types of assets that we can share. So I think it's a brilliant idea, and I certainly undertake to make sure that I talk to my fellow deputy governors when we are in Bermuda.
Ms. Gloria, I've placed it on your shoulder now to implement it afterwards. Anything you want to say?
Just to say that there has been this excellent collaboration. I think the UK has anticipated that the Cayman Islands is a huge asset in its regional support to the overseas territories and beyond. And so when we got our helicopter, there was very close UK support for our being able to get that asset support as we have developed and trained our regiment. And so I think there is a recognition that the Cayman Islands and the overseas territories, to your point, are maturing, and our capacity to provide a stronger first-line response is definitely there. So I totally agree with the Deputy Governor. There is a real opportunity for us to formalize the way that we have been supporting each other, and to make sure that we are continuing to build that localized resilience, because everyone has significant pressures. Storm threats are increasing not only in their intensity, but their frequency. And so our first spoonful of medicine as it relates to preparedness needs to be about making sure we are prepared to respond ourselves and to respond to our neighbors, particularly amongst our OTs.
Okay, Dani, you're the one who really, from hazard management standpoint, interact more than anyone else in relation to our partners, our international partners and regional partners as well.
So we work very closely, one here with the Governor's Office, obviously, but also with the FCDO in London. So we have monthly meetings with all the overseas territories as well as the FCDO Disaster Management Office. We are meeting in 2 weeks' time in Miami. We do every year an annual hurricane conference with them. We also obviously work very closely with SEDEMA, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, We've just spent the last 2 days working on an exercise synergy with them. But again, those conversations are weekly and do a lot of work with them and collaborate, because obviously they coordinate the regional response. And I think even another example is the regiment. We're just recently in Jamaica working with other regiments from the overseas territories to assist in Jamaica. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on behind the scenes. We also work with the Dawn, which was the ship, the philanthropist ship that came in 2 years ago. We did a 5-day workshop with them, or exercise with them, about deployment of resources into the sister islands, and also the use of the helicopter landing on their ship and so forth. And we have monthly conversations with them. So there's a lot of that regional conversation and international conversation going on. But I think it's always looking for contingencies and layering. You know, we saw last year there was issues with getting perhaps modelling from the States. We were concerned about NOAA's ability to give us modelling, given the politics over there. And we had to look at alternative routes. And I think that's what we're always doing, is looking at what are our alternatives. What are alternatives for support, surge capacity, but also for food security? If by chance the docks in the States get impacted either by a storm or by political situation, where else can we look at? And I think that's one of the things we've always got to strive to continue to do, is always looking at our options.
Okay, we have about 6 minutes left. I want to give each of you an opportunity for some closing comments. We'll start with Mr. Powery, but what also you may want to include in that is, talk about your work with regional partners, as well.
No problem. Thank you. Again, we kind of danced around the topic of the hurricane season. So those numbers still have to stay in your mind.
Yes.
While the prediction is for normal or below normal activity, we still need to be prepared for any activity. In years past, it could be one major one, or it could be minor storms bringing you minor impacts, but back-to-back situations. So you have to prepare for a wide range of scenarios, if you will. But preparedness is key. Being informed is your first step to be prepared. So from that perspective, I leave that as that. Now, to your other question, Cayman Islands is part of the Caribbean Miracle Organization. Yes. And part of it, CMO, the coordinating director, CMO, is our representative of BCT, British Caribbean Territories, to the WMO, big body. And as such, we also have different partners within the region and under WMO. I am the chairman of the Regional Association for Infrastructure Committee. So we look across the regional's information structure, automatic weather stations, radar, satellites, all the capability, hydrological sensors, networks, to see if we could build capacity to make sure that they are reliable, and that, more critically, that information is fed to the global models to make the modeling better. We have other partners in the NWS who are also part of the research board. So they're looking at research regionally to try to bring that from research to operational phase. So there's a lot of interactions. By definition, we're part of the Hurricane Committee, which just held its meeting in late February. So they review. It's chaired by the director of the National Hurricane Center. So we review any updates coming from them, and we discuss the regional technical plans, the technical coordination plans, to try to make sure that they're up to date, that they can be improved. So there's a lot of collaboration regionally and as well globally under the WMO umbrella.
Okay. Closing comments, Dani?
If you could just, again, shout out to the public to be as prepared as possible. Make sure you know your shelters, get your disaster kits ready or emergency kits ready, restocked, have a family planning discussion with the bigger family, and know what you'll do if by chance we get hit this year. But again, any eventuality really. I think it's just really important to be prepared, and so that preparedness is power. Be ready every day. We will be out in the DIY shops. We'll be out in the supermarkets. hardware shops and the supermarkets throughout the next 6 weeks. So we're here to help you individualize your plans. If you want hazard management to come do a presentation at your school, at your service club, at your business, we're very happy to help with that and those kind of plans. And just finally, a big, big shout out to CabSec again for a happy birthday, and hope he has a fabulous day.
Okay. DG Designate.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And following on Dani's comments, my shout out is going to be directed towards the public service. I have seen many of our annual hazard management plans coming in for business continuity. For those who have not submitted theirs as yet, I'm just a reminder to get those plans in. For every civil servant, please remember to go on to our HR management site, so my Vista. Update your personal information. This is how we support you, particularly in the aftermath of a storm. And just thank you to all of the men and women who, even before the storm, from our HMCI, our weather service, our first responders, our regiment, everyone who has been preparing for this upcoming hurricane season. I thank you for the tremendous efforts that you're doing on behalf of keeping Cayman safe and prepared. Thank you.
DG?
Yes, thank you. Again, big shout out to our Cabinet Secretary, wishing him a happy birthday. Mr. Connor, for many years, during my 14 years as Deputy Governor, I think the Cayman Islands has got used to hearing my voice saying I'm chairman of the Hazard Management Council. Well, in a couple of not so short period of time, you're going to hear Miss Gloria McField-Nixon's voice. And
yes.
I want to assure the public that you are in highly capable hands. I'm going to be at home listening to her voice.
I'm not sure you will, DG. I think we're pulling you, seconding you into hazard management.
No. I'm going to be at home listening to her voice and feeling very proud of having our Ms. Gloria McField-Nixon as our Deputy Governor. And I want to assure the people of the Cayman Islands that they are in highly capable hands. She and I have battled through those various storms together. There's times when we have relocated to the government building and had to sleep in a cot on the 5th floor. So we are battle hardened and ready. And working with Dani and her team, working with Kerry, has always been, I think, a highlight of my career, dealing with the various challenges that we're faced. But I want to again say to the people of the Cayman Islands, it only takes one hurricane to devastate us. We only need to look at what happened in Jamaica last year and how fortunate we were. So the theme, preparedness is power, be ready every day. Please take that serious.
Okay. Again, I want to thank all of you for what you do to help and your organizations do to help to keep the Cayman Islands safe as well. We look forward to more of these conversations. I believe that we have you scheduled, and for the record, every Friday of this month as well. Folks, we're going to go to our headline news. When we return, we will be talking about Child Month in the Cayman Islands as well, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, no Cayman. Right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
It's a wrap on conch and whelk season, which closed on Thursday. Harvesting conch and whelks is strictly prohibited in all Cayman waters from May 1st through October 31st. Violations of the National Conservation Act can result in fines of up to $500,000 or 4 years in jail. Lobster season remains closed through December 31st. In international news, a man has appeared in court charged with attempted murder after 2 Jewish men were stabbed in Golders Green, North London on Wednesday. The 45-year-old is accused of attacking a 34-year-old and 76-year-old. Both men suffered serious injuries and were treated in hospital, with the Metropolitan Police declaring it a terrorist incident. The 45-year-old suspect is also accused of attempting to murder a man in a knife attack in the man's apartment in South London earlier the same day. He also faces charges of possessing a knife in a public place. And all but 2 pro-Palestinian activists detained by Israeli forces after their flotilla heading for Gaza was intercepted in international waters have now been released in Greece. On Thursday, around 175 activists aboard 22 boats carrying aid were seized near the island of Crete. The organizers of the Global Samud Flotilla denounced the action as, quote, piracy, saying members were seized unlawfully more than 600 miles from Gaza, which is under an Israeli naval blockade. Israel's foreign ministry has called the flotilla a PR stunt. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Your Cayman Islands Health Services Authority has been the national healthcare provider of the Cayman Islands for many generations. We have elevated our level of care to ensure you, our patients, have the best possible experience. We offer better access to care close to home with the most locations on all 3 islands, delivering a full range of primary, secondary, tertiary, and emergency care. HSA is a JCI accredited organization, and we are committed to caring for you.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Babe, not tonight. You keep poking me and I need to be rested for meetings tomorrow.
What? I was almost asleep. That's the mattress spring I keep telling you about, not me. We really need to get a new mattress.
Tossing and turning, back hurting, can't sleep? It might be time to turn in your old mattress and go to bed with a new one. Browse the huge mattress showroom at Brand Source Home Gallery and pick the perfect mattress today. With mattresses to suit every budget, Brand Source Home Gallery stocks a wide selection of sizes and styles like pillow top and gel memory foam. So stop tossing and turning and sleep better tonight with a new mattress from Brand Source Home Gallery, Dawson Drive, Industrial Park.
Boy, I'm so glad I got that funding from the Ministry of Tourism's Visitors Experience Development Grant Program. It has really helped me create an awesome new tourism offering. Wondering if you could do the same? You're in luck. Applications for the VEDG program are now open. Visit www.ourcayman.ky/VEDGP for more information and to apply.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman.
For the Record with Orret Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We will now be talking about Child Month here in the Cayman Islands, Child Month 2026. And of course, the theme for this year's Child Month is See Me, Hear Me. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me Miss Loy Coleman, who's the social work manager, and also as of today, she's also the acting deputy director of the Department of Children and Family Services, and also in the studio, stranger to this studio, I believe both of them are, to our new studio. We have Miss Catherine Tyson Sewell, who is a social worker with the Department of Children and Family Services, and we will be joined by the Honorable Isaac Rankin, Minister. He will be with us shortly as well. So, ladies, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning. And yes, we are new to this fancy studio you have here. It's beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
Almost as beautiful as you, Mr. Khan. I haven't seen you in so long.
So let's talk about the key message this year, which is it's a call to action. It asks us to pay attention, to listen carefully, and to respond early. Children communicate in many ways through words, behavior, silence, and changes in mood. See me, hear me means recognizing when something is wrong and acting before more harm is done as well. So important. We know that our children, they are the most vulnerable in our society. We talk about them being our future as well. So coupled with that vulnerability, how do we ensure that we take care of the future, our future, here in the Cayman Islands and elsewhere as well?
So this is one of the reasons why we celebrate Child Month, recognize Child Month. We've been doing it since 1997 as a department and as a country. And it's a bit to, yes, celebrate our children, but also to remind us that they are our future and that they need care and protection. And that comes in many forms. So one of our theme, as you said, is see me, hear me. And that is just about reminding people that it's more than services, it's more than care and protection, but it's actually listening to the child. It's actually observing them, because sometimes we can see more than we can hear. Children generally don't always talk everything that they're feeling. So it's making sure that you are very familiar with your child, or any child that you care for, that you're familiar with them, that you know how they behave, how they respond to certain things, so that when they're not doing that, you know that something's not right. We have babies who we know that when they're not eating, we tend to say, oh, if they're not eating, we know they're not feeling well. They don't tell us.
Right.
Because they can't verbalize, but we can see from their actions. So again, it's just trying to understand our children, trying to make sure that we observe what's happening with them, around them, getting to know their friends and their friends' parents as well, is all part of it, and having conversations with your children. So I think years ago, there was a thing about see me. Children are to be seen and not heard.
Yes.
But we know that it's a little different these days, right? So children are to be seen, but we are also to listen to them, because a lot of times and once you listen and you actively listen and engage with them and ask those questions in a manner that they're comfortable speaking to you, you will hear a lot of things.
Yeah. I also think that when you see a child, I think the emphasis is when you see a child, you're actually able to hear something also, whether they're saying something to you or not, because their behavior is communicating at all times. So as adults, when we look at children, we tend to just think, okay, they're just little people running around, but they're actually the future adults, as you said, as Ms. Loy said as well. And so they're going to be the adults in our society. So we really need to be investing in them and paying attention, all of us, every single one of us, the teachers, the social workers, the parents especially, community members, church members, how it was in the olden days, because these children will be the adults of tomorrow. And so if we can get them safely to their future, because that's really what it is. We're trying to safeguard them to their future and, avoid as many pitfalls or as much trauma as we can, as much detriment that's being done to our children, because that's the issue. So See Me, Hear Me is a really important call out to every community member, teachers, parents, to really pay attention to our future adults. It's so important, and help the department with what we do every day.
Yep. For the benefit of our listening and viewing audience, can you talk about what some of the biggest concerns that your department, that is the Department of Children and Family Service, is seeing right now in our community? We know that our population in the Cayman Islands continues to increase, mainly through work permits. So not only do we have to deal with our Caymanian children, but also you have a responsibility for all children within the Cayman Islands as well. Can you talk about some of the concerns that you have been raised within your department?
Well, one of the things, OC, that we're seeing is the increase in complexity in the needs of children, and the increase in complexity in justice situations, the concerns, and we're also seeing that coming from a younger age as well. So we have things like mental health concerns, a lot of family instability, exposure to online. We hear it all the time that the screen time and the social media is really not very helpful to our children. But that we see a lot of. There's risk of exploitation and repeated trauma. Of course, there's also continues to be the risk of abuse and neglect, sexual abuse and neglect of our children. So we're also seeing that children who come to us have already been in this trauma or traumatic situation for a while. So they're coming to us now later than we would like to see them, okay? Don't get me wrong, we wouldn't like to see them come to us at all for this, because it would mean that we're all doing what we should be doing, and we're all taking care of our children. But they're coming to us at a time when they've gone through a lot of trauma. So it takes a lot to work with them. I keep saying that when we have programs that are a 6 weeks program or something like that, if you have someone who's gone through trauma for the last 5-10 years of their lives, 6 weeks alone isn't going to do it. It's a start, don't get me wrong. It is a start, but it's not going to do it. So it takes a lot longer to work with children who have been through trauma for a long time. Last year, and so again, too, the risks have also escalated. So they're much higher, they're more severe, and it is very concerning. Last year, we had children in care experienced more than 200 missing incidents, which is one of the clearest indications that earlier intervention and stronger support are urgently needed. Children can tell us, if we really observe and everything, they can tell us from a very young age that something is not right. Oftentimes, we tend to either ignore it, or maybe we don't know the signs. And sometimes we know the signs, but we're like, yeah, I'm not sure that you really want to believe that or whatever. But in anything, early intervention is key. The earlier we are able to intervene and assist children, whether it's children with developmental challenges or with trauma, the more likelihood we are able to help them to make them meet their full potential.
Now, speaking of children with challenges, I was trying to remember which show it was, but I know it was certainly on Radio Cayman, talking about autistic and differently abled children as well, and some of the challenges that they face institutionally, as well, in terms of whether they attempt to integrate with the rest of society, or some may choose to do that. Some may choose to, to develop under their own conditions and as well. Do you have any interactions with those organizations, as well, like, for instance, autistic children, or do they basically have their own community that looks after their concerns?
Well, we interact with all agencies that have anything to do with children. Right. So we do from an educational standpoint. I know we've been looking at working a lot closer with Inclusion Cayman as well. So we work well with the Lighthouse School. Some of them, sometimes we have clients in those situations as well. And also it means giving some support to the parent as well.
So we work with the community partners. Obviously our client base is very diverse across the board, and we work with all agencies that address various things, especially for our children. So we do have special needs children on our client base, but we work very closely with agencies that do work with children and particular needs. So the Department of Children and Family Services is kind of that one stop, but we also depend very largely on our community partners that work with particular needs, especially for children, as Ms. Lloyd just said. So yeah, we definitely work very closely with any agency that's working with the children.
Excellent. So we have been joined by the Minister. Minister, good morning, sir. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, OC. Good morning to my colleagues from DCFS, and good morning to the Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, and Little Cayman.
Okay, one of our listeners wants to know those T-shirts that you all are wearing. Where can they purchase them?
Minister, that's your question.
Oh, see, I was actually going to speak briefly about it, but today is what we call the Cayman Day, 345 Day.
Yes.
This is a kickoff to our Heritage Month, the same day as Child Month. But we have these for sale at the Intergenerational Hub. That's up next to DHL, just behind Price Right. So they can go. The public can go there and buy these beautiful shirts that tell us how Cayman proud.
Yes.
And they come in different colors.
Green,
red, blue, black, yellow.
Yes.
And
Represent
yellow was the only
white.
color I did not have, and I have it on today.
And I think they represent the colors in our coat of arms.
Yes. So, Minister, Child Month, the theme, see me, hear me. What does it mean to you, sir?
Yeah. Well, it is a call to action, OC, and it asks us to pay attention, to listen carefully, and to respond early. And, children will communicate and respond in different ways. So if we pay attention and we can see the mood changes, see them going silent, then we know something's wrong, and it gives us a chance to intervene early and find out what's wrong.
Now, some recent information was also shared with Parliament in relation to the number of sexual offense victims in 2025, and the majority of them were children. Can you speak to that, sir?
Yes, OC, I'll be glad to. Yesterday, I also gave a statement in Parliament in regard to that and what we're planning on doing.
Paul wants you to bring that mic a little closer to you, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, me, sorry. Okay. See that? I'm blaming everybody else, right? Sorry about that.
No problem at all. But yeah, when I gave the statement in there, that statistics is very telling. And when you look at it, went up 20% to 125. To some people, that may not seem a lot, but that's 125 in that happened in this country that we don't need, right? And it says that over 58% of the victims were children. That's 73 or 74 of those who were victims of this. And also, we've come to a point in this country where we cannot and we should not tolerate abuse against our children, especially sexual abuse, because we have had this going on for years and years and years, OC, and we can no longer turn a blind eye. What we also have to do is ensure that we protect our school children, because from the time I was going to high school, sir, it was happening in the front of high school.
Yep.
And we can no longer turn our eye to this, where the children and especially young girls were being groomed until they got out of school. And OC, that's fortunately under my watch, this is not going to happen anymore. We're putting our foot down.
And can you speak to some of the initiatives then that you will be advancing as far as the Children Act is concerned and other broader legislative reform to take place?
Well, we have some regulations that's coming to bring the Children's Act into force later on this year. We're looking at strengthening all of the acts, especially with our older persons, our Children's Act. But we also putting together a group to look at the very thing I just spoke about, to ensure that when we start putting the legislative framework together, that we can ensure that when we bring it to the Parliament for the AG to bring it and lay it on the floor of the House, that we put all our ducks in a row. Now, we also have some current legislation that when somebody who's been convicted of an offense of molesting a child or rape, for example, that the legislation is not strong enough, so we don't know where they are. We can't monitor them and to ensure that they are not perpetrating that behavior anymore. Or again, once they get released from prison, and that is some of the legislation and stuff that we plan on strengthening to ensure that we have better control of this and to ensure that we are protecting the most vulnerable in our society.
Now, there are some who have called for the establishment of a sex offenders registry. One of the concerns that you hear is that because we're such a small jurisdiction, a small community, that that may impact the victimizer as well. But who are we really seeking to protect under these circumstances? Is there any appetite whatsoever to establish a sex offenders registry in the Cayman Islands?
That's a very good question, and we had lengthy discussions in our caucus about that very thing. There's one point when we had the presentation in terms of the safeguard initiative that we are progressing, that it was said that, okay, fine, if you do a sex registry, it will then put the victim at risk. Some people don't see it that way. Mm-hmm. But whatever we do and whatever comes back from the group at the end of the day for us to draft the legislation, we are prepared to protect the victims at any cost, because we can no longer turn a blind eye. We must protect our youth and our vulnerable people.
And can you speak to the health and social development priorities and all of the initiatives that you've spoken about, how they align directly with that health and social development priorities of the government?
It does align with it, OC, because, for example, a child who got molested or assaulted, when you look at the mental and physical trauma that child will go through, or anyone for that matter, but I'm just focusing on child because it's Child Month. But when we look at the trauma that they go through mentally, physically, emotionally, it has an effect on their health as well. Now, as part of the group that's going to be looking at this legislative change and legislation that we have to bring to Parliament, it includes the Ministry of Health, it includes education, it includes the DPP, it includes the ministry, and we'll have representative from DCFS, DFA. So we have representative from the Ministry of Home Affairs. And I want to say thanks to all of those who've helped us progress this so far, including the Ministry of Home Affairs, because they've been very, very supportive and very active about us getting it to this far. But as a government, we must ensure that we also are creating the spaces to develop and make sure that our people have that health and wellness benefit mentally, physically, emotionally.
Okay. Ms. Tyson.
Yes.
Let's talk.
Tyson Sewell.
Sewell, yes. Let me remember that. Okay. Again, and we spoke earlier about this, but we didn't hear it directly from you. See me, hear me, what it means, to you. And I know I've worked with you, especially after Hurricane Ivan, and we saw where families, and in particular children, were exposed to different style, different type of living, those,
absolutely,
as well. So what does it mean to you?
Well, you were my boss, so let's see that. I know that was another time in our lives, but
yes.
I remember it fondly. And we ended up putting some things in place for the children that were in the temporary homes you're referring to right after Hurricane Ivan. What See Me, Hear Me means to this theme for Child's Month is that it means that children are always communicating. We're understanding that children are always communicating, even when they're not speaking directly. Behavior is communication. Withdrawal is communication. Aggression is communication. Social workers are trained to look beyond the surface, and we need the community to do the same. We need people to be paying attention to our children. And if you see something, you say something.
Mm-hmm. What are some of those signs that we should be paying special attention to, or more attention to?
Paying attention to your child's behavior, children's behavior, paying attention to their moods, to their sleep, to the school attendance, their eating habits. Ms. Loy just mentioned earlier that when a baby doesn't eat, a parent knows something is wrong. They're not feeling well because they're not eating. So we are paying attention from very early behavior. So we're just saying to take that further. So we have to continue to be paying attention at all times. When they're taking risks, when they change their peer groups, these signs don't always mean harm, but it does mean that a child may need attention and support. And it's very important for us to continue to pay attention to what our children are doing and to keep them out of harm's way.
Okay. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. So when we return, we want to talk about the role that teachers and schools play in terms of the development of our children, and the role that they also play in identifying issues, and also the pathways that they should take in the event that they become aware of something. What are some of the structures that we have in place, for instance, like MASH, that we have in place to address some of these issues as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price, and a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
Cineco's parametric insurance after hurricanes is now available for motor policies. Fixed automatic payouts cover incidental vehicle expenses like fuel, cleanup, and minor repairs. No claims, no damage required. $200 for comprehensive policies or $100 for third-party policies. Available exclusively through Cineco and included with all new motor insurance policies and upon renewal for current policies. Visit cineco.ky today. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
This is Raymond Scott wishing Radio Cayman a very happy and successful 50th anniversary. As I recall, I was the first reporter for weather reports from Cayman Brac, phoning in to Lomax Rankin in the early hours of the morning, giving the weather update in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and I had numerous opportunities. Thank you, Radio Cayman, for all you have done and provided this service for us all of these years.
For the Record with Orret Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. For those of you who are just joining us, we are talking about Child Month in the Cayman Islands, the month of May, Child Month. That conversation is taking place with the Honorable Minister, Honorable Isaac Rankin. Also in the studio, Ms. Loy Kellerman, who is the Social Work Manager and Acting Deputy Director of Department of Children and Family Services, and Ms. Catherine Tyson Sewell, who is a social worker as well. And you heard her say that she worked within the Cabinet Office at one point in time as well. So we want to talk about the role that teachers and school play in this whole area of child protection.
Yeah. Well, teachers in schools are very important. So I don't think there's anybody who is more important. We are all, whether it's a parent, whether it's DCFS, whether it's teachers and the schools, I think we all are on the same level in terms of importance. Because at the end of the day, what is of paramount importance is the protection of our children. So in the schools, I can tell you a little bit, and we work closely with the schools as well. So some of the things that we're doing with education, for example, is education has an early start program that they work with children who are not yet in preschool. And through that programming, parents are taught how to, and modeled how to look out for behaviors in their children, how to respond to those behaviors, how to communicate with their children. If not every child is going to sit down and listen to you when you talk to them. So there are different ways that you have to engage them with. So they're taught things like that. I know through the schools they're also doing some social regulation programs. So that helps with the children's response to different instances in their lives. We also, as a department, we are going into the schools, into the primary schools, and we do, I call it a social graces program. And so we're doing programs where we go into the school and work with the children to first to let them know about the department, what we're there for, what the role is, let them know that their right is to be protected, to be cared for, and how that looks. And speak to them about family relationships, relationships with their peers. We talk to them about simple things like respect and good manners, and how that really all of that comes into play, building relationships. So the schools play an important part. The teachers are there with them, with the children, for the time that they're not with their parents. And that's quite a bit throughout the day. So the teachers too they go through our child safeguarding program. They have their own for the department. They are mandatory reporters.
That's right.
And So they know, and they know their children. They know their children in their class. They know, and they have the connection with the parents and with the children. So they also have the ability to influence the parents and help the parents to help and guide the parents as well.
Yeah, so I think teachers, their role is critical outside of the home, because they're generally where the child spends most of their time, either at home or at school. So, when they're the ones that are interacting with the children, so they're able to notice the early changes, and they're able to work very closely with us in being a safeguarding, an environment that they have. So they're able to work with our safeguarding hub, with MASH, and if they see something, they generally report it. So a teacher's role is actually critical, and I think that's more important than anything like it used to be. School used to be your home away from home. And so now teacher's role is so important that they really do need to play that role of being the eyes of the parent, because it's very necessary.
Yeah.
And then Minister, when we work together, we're looking at being proactive.
Yes.
Right. We really hate to be, from a DCFS point, we hate to be in that reactive situation, because then it's a bit late. Not that nothing can be done, but we would rather go from a proactive stance. And so when we work with our different agencies, again, part of that is trying to be proactive, working with the parents, working with the families, working with the children. It's all about being proactive.
Yeah. And I know, I want to echo the sentiments of Miss Catherine and Miss Loy, because what they said is very true. They both said it. Outside of the parents, teachers are the next set of persons that they spend the most time with.
Yeah.
Now, I think there have been some increase in the reports, and I think a lot of those came from teachers who have seen and who are gone through the training again, the safeguarding, and they have been able to identify issues with the kids and report it to MASH. Now, I just want to touch on terms of the reports. I mean, we went back to the 125 cases reported in 2025. OC, and that's what those that were reported.
Yes.
Can you imagine those that didn't come forward? And that is what scares me, OC. That is what scares me. That is what will keep me awake at night. How many other vulnerable children that we have out there who have not reported it but have withdrawn within themselves.
Yeah.
And then I've also heard a lot more about self-harm. And this is what causes a lot of that, OC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the 200 plus missing incidents that we're talking about last year alone.
Yeah.
Those are incidents that occurred that we never heard about until the child was in care.
Yeah.
And so there's so many more incidents that's occurring, as the minister has said, and that's where that self-harm is coming in, because that's how they're reacting to it, as opposed to telling somebody. And so we want adults to be paying attention. We need adults to be paying attention. We need them to notice. We need them to listen. If you're a parent, you need to be talking to your children. You need to be connecting with your children. Connection is important. You need to be supervising your children, know who they're with, who their friends are, what they're doing. Like, get on their nerves, like literally, But you have to be paying attention to your children, because, something could be happening, and it's going to be detrimental in the long run. And as Ms. Loy said, we don't want to be reactive. We want to be proactive.
And see, sorry. At the end of the day, as parents, that's what we are. First and foremost, we are not friends of the child. We are the parents looking out for their well-being.
Right.
Right? And we need to act that way. And I've seen so much where parents have discarded their main priority, and that's looking after the children.
Yeah. Now, folks, this wasn't part of the talking point, but I believe it is extremely important. As we attract more and more persons to this country, mainly to work from all corners of the globe. They come with their own cultural practices, some with the intention of practicing them here, some may be able to adjust as well. And the topic of female genital mutilation, which many countries have experienced. We hope it never happens in the Cayman Islands, but the possibility of it taking place becomes, more and more a reality based on the number of persons and where they are coming from. You talk about wanting to be proactive as opposed to reactive. How can we sort of be proactive in these instances? Probably they may occur and we may not even hear about it as well. If we're lucky, we hear about it. Do we have any type of legislation that may cover that at this point in time? Or if it were to be reported and detected and you had to prosecute, do you have to find some fine line in the legislation to say, well, we can possibly prosecute them under this? We have to be realistic about what we're facing in the Cayman Islands. What I'm going to do, we're going to take the commercial break, give you an opportunity to think about that, and we can talk about it when we return, because like I said, it wasn't on the talking points, but I thought that it was important to be mentioned as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
My mom's a superhero. She always knows what to do when I feel icky. Yesterday, we went to West Bay Pharmacy, and they had everything she needed. Medicine, my favorite Band-Aids with dinosaurs, and even flavored vitamins. Mom says they keep our family healthy. I think they're magic. Don't tell anyone. I think superhero shop at West Bay Pharmacy. West Bay Pharmacy, where the superheroes shop. West Bay Pharmacy and Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
The Cayman Islands Department of Tourism invites you to the 2026 Tourism Speak-Off on Wednesday, May 6 at Hotel Indigo from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Join us in supporting 4 brilliant young Caymanians as they compete in a tourism-themed debate to become the 2026 Tourism Ambassador and win incredible prizes. Contact us at competition@caymanislands.ky for more information on the event. Let's cheer on our Caymanian youth.
With Orret Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We are talking about Child Month in the Cayman Islands. In the studio with me, Honorable Isaac Rankin. Also in the studio with Miss Loy Coleman and Miss Catherine Tyson Sewell. So the off-talking point issue that I raised, and then after that, we're going to talk about the events that will be taking place during Child Month as well, folks.
Okay, OC, for the off-topic, when I went to school in the UK, I saw a documentary that spent quite a bit of time speaking about female genital mutilation. It was horrifying at the minimum, when you went through and when I watched the documentary of what was happening in the UK, now I believe that our laws will certainly, right now as it is, will certainly prosecute people who do that, because at a minimum, OC, that's an assault, at a minimum. But I'm sure that our abled DPP would find laws within the penal code to prosecute people like that. But at the end of the day, OC, it is like Miss Catherine said earlier, as when we were off air, is that when in Rome, you do as the Romans do. You come to our country, you respect our laws, you respect our culture, you respect our heritage. And that is something that I would advocate. If we don't have anything on the books, I would advocate to have it put on the books, because, again, we must protect our children. And this was happening in that documentary of young females, I think somewhere in the ages of 8 or 9, and they were held down. And it was done and unsterilized.
Yes.
And it created a lot of issues in the UK.
Ladies?
So I believe it tends to be a cultural exercise. And I know that there are a number of countries that have now created laws against it. So you may find some of that still happening in very rural areas of some of the countries we speak for. We know that that happens. But certainly in the Cayman Islands, we protect all children. It doesn't matter whether you're Caymanian or non-Caymanian. As long as you're living in the Cayman Islands, we protect you. And that is very important, because we engage with each other. We go to the same schools. And so we need to make sure that all our children know that they are protected, that it's safe to speak, it's safe to let us know what's happening, because by the UN conventions, that's the right. That's an international right for children. Yep. But then it comes to also being proactive, as you said, and making sure that people who come here know what our stance is when it comes to child protection. And simple.
Yep.
And what I can say, I agree wholeheartedly with what Ms. Loy just said, but what I can say also is that people and parents need to understand that your child belongs to you until you harm your child. When you harm your child, the state steps in. The country steps in. And I think parents do not realize that. They think, well, I had this child. I brought you in the world. I can take you out this world. No, you really can't. You're going to be committing a crime. And so I think, and that's why a lot of children are in care, because when you have done something against your child, the state has to step in. The country steps in and says, no, we're going to safeguard this child. We're going to protect this child. So if there is something that you're doing that is bringing harm to this child, then you are now on the outside of the law. And I think that that's really important. I believe that something like that probably definitely needs to be looked into 100%, because just how we can find a way to prosecute it, there's going to be some lawyer that's going to find a way to defend it. And so I think it's something that, we would need to look into it deeper. But as it stands, I stand firm on when you're in Rome, you do as the Romans. You're in Cayman, it's not something that we do, and it's not something that should be done to a child. No harm should be brought to any children.
And just quickly,
yes,
I just quickly pulled up the World Health Organization on this topic, and it says, more than 230 million girls and women alive today have undergone female genital mutilation in 30 countries across Africa, Middle East, and Asia. Most of them girls from infancy to the age of 15.
Wow. Okay. So, folks, today actually is when Child Month kicks off. Yeah. Let's talk about some of the things that will be taking place, and all of the events that are going to be taking place during the month of May.
So for sure, Child Month is about celebration of our children, but it's also about protection, and that's what we've been talking about. This show, and thank you for having us on today to just chat about our children see me, hear me, being an attentive adult and helping us to protect our children. And so we're celebrating. Starting today is our launch. We have a church service that's coming up on Sunday. That's this Sunday, and it's going to be at the Church of God Universal. It's the Child Month, the celebration, the opening of Child Month. And so we invite everybody to come out. The service starts at 11. We're going to be presenting our honorary awardee that we've chosen to receive an award this year. This is the first honorary award that we'll be giving out. Generally, we give a Child Month award, but it's the honorary award, and it will be
So just to correct you on that, we have given out honorary awards in the past, and then it was children, and this year we
came back.
Thought it was fit to give to this person. Who was also a child.
All right. Yes.
At one point, yes.
And
of ours.
Was a child of ours and has an amazing story, and we'll be presenting that to her. Actually, we'll get Miss Letitia Bush from. She's actually Miss Earth Cayman.
Okay.
And yeah, we're very, very just proud of her, and we invite everybody to come out and celebrate her and celebrate. The opening of Child Month officially is today, but our church service will be at the Church of God Universal on Sunday.
And that's the one on Walker's Road,
on
right
Walker's
next
Road.
to the...
I call it True Youth School,
yes.
True Youth Church. Across from True Youth, right next to Doctor's Hospital.
Okay.
And we'll be there. And it's going to be a great celebration. We have lots of things coming up. Also, we have an early childhood parade that is going to be on next Saturday, the 9th of May. And that is a parade starting from Bayshore Mall at 7:30 a.m. and it's going to be a walk to the government administration building, and just any child just come out and join that parade. It's going to be a really great morning. All the children will get like a nice little snack, nice little
So just a quick one on the parade. The parade is part of the Week of the Young Child that the Early Childhood Education Unit and Early Childhood Association with the Ministry of Education has been doing for years.
Okay.
But last year they wanted to join with us, partner with us, because Week of the Child Month falls in May, and so we partnered that everything comes together within Child Month. So they do have other Week of the Young Child activities that are going on. The preschools will be part of that parade, as well as anybody else, I think, who wants to join.
Great.
We also are doing our church service in the BRAC as well. So the BRAC has a whole calendar of events. If you're in the BRAC, you can just contact the Department of Children and Family Services over there to learn of all of their great events that they'll be having. But their church service will be on the 31st of May. I think it's the Cayman BRAC church service. I do see that they're doing a fellowship, like a games night at another church. So there's lots of activities going on there. We'll be having some various things. We're having quite a few family fun days in our various districts. We're working with the St. George's Mothers Union. They're doing a family fun day in East End on May 30th.
Yes.
And that's going to be exciting. You guys can talk a little bit more about that, Ms. Loy or Mr.
So on the fun day in East End, it'll be from 2 to 6 p.m. We will have lots of fun activities for the children, games, and the parents too. The venue is at Heritage Field.
Okay.
And
that is where they have the Parrot Street activities.
Yes.
And we also have we'll have the fire service there, different booths that will that will provide information for parents. The Mothers Union will also be launching their parenting program. We work closely with the Mothers Union and with FRC, Family Resource Center, as well, to get parenting support out into the districts. And so that is one of the things that we will be doing. We have lots of fun activities that are happening. We have different entertainment sections that will be taking place on that date as well.
Okay, just want to read one message.
And of course, there is refreshments.
Yes. Before we go over to the minister,
and it's all free. Sorry,
all
and
free
it's all
as well.
free.
Oh
yes,
yes.
This person has written and said, "Good morning, Mr. Connor and your guests. Most important subject. I think that children who are affected in many ways, felt by adults from all walks of life, we have to be notified when adults who have molested children and move from one district to another with no knowledge of who your children are around." Meaning, again, the whole issue of maybe a offenders registry, and also we see in some jurisdictions where if you move out of the area that you're supposed to be living in, some people are restricted to live in certain areas, and if you move out of that area, then you have to report it to the authorities so that the people living in those areas know it as well.
Oh, see, I'm glad that person touched on that, because that is one of the very things that we're hoping to address, because right now, the law doesn't say that they have to do it. So when they give one address and they move, they don't have to. So that's why it's so difficult for the people, the rehabilitation people and Department of Community Rehabilitation don't have any known knowledge of their whereabouts when they move. And that is one of the issues in the laws that we have to address, and we intend to address to ensure that we know where these people are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just say to OC that I agree with what the minister says, but we should remember as well that it's our responsibility to know who our children are seeing, who their friends are.
Yeah.
Like, I always knew who my children's friends were. Yeah. Like, I made sure.
Yeah.
I went to their birthday parties with them. If they were going out when they were teenagers and they were going out to meet them, I would go with them. And then I would probably leave them for a little while or whatever. And I got to know my children's friends' parents as well. Yeah.
Right.
And so I don't want to underestimate our responsibility as adults. Remembering that we may go to a strange place and we don't even know who's there.
Yes,
you know, when we travel, we don't know who is around us.
Right.
But it's for us to be always vigilant, to know the signs. And again, that probably comes with some education too that we need to be pushing out to the parents as well. Sure. So they know different signs to look out for and so forth. But we really need to all work together to do a better job of awareness and being able to recognize certain things.
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
Closing comments. See me, hear me. If you see something, say something as well. Closing comments, Ms.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't say a closing comment without commenting about being a parent, because everybody knows that's my claim to fame in many ways. I've written a couple of books about it. And just what Miss Loy said, my house was full of children. I rather children be in my house because I could see what they're doing. I could see what was going on. And then also being connected to my children's friends and the parents of the friends, very important. So parents, definitely your 100% role is to pay attention to your children. Children don't need perfect adults, but they do need attentive adults. Yeah. And so this Child's Month, we want to bring attention to that. We want to celebrate our children, but we want to also hammer home the fact that we need to protect them, because they all are our children, whether they're your personal ones or the community children. They're our children, and we need to protect them because they're the future adults of the Cayman Islands. And one way or the other, we will reap the benefits of whatever we put in.
Yes.
And so 100% the Department of Children and Family Services is working very hard every day with children, but we need the community. We need the community to come on board. We need more foster parents as well. If you're interested in being a foster parent, we definitely need that. And come out and support the events for Child Month. And, if you need any information, just give us a call, 949-0290, 949-0290, and we can get you a calendar. And we'd love to see everybody out there as we work together to safeguard our children.
Okay, Ms. Loy?
And even if you're not a parent, you're part of this community. Every one of us in this who lives in this our beloved Cayman Islands has a responsibility to our children. So whether or not you're a parent, help us to protect and take care of all the children that are here. We have nieces, we have nephews, we have children of friends, whatever it is. But let's help each other to protect and care for our children.
Minister?
Children, like Miss Catherine and Miss Loy has already said, at some point we are parents. May not be physically, but we are parenting, looking after some child at some point. There's a song that the folk singers sing at the end of their set when they finish it. It says, come back home to the island. Mm-hmm. And the last song of the verse says, our shores belong to our children, and our children belong to the Cayman Islands. Mm-hmm. That means every one of us, OC. It means every one of us. And that means that as parents, we need to take our responsibility for raising our children seriously. We have too many parents who have given up that responsibility because they want to go and continue to have the type of fun and lifestyle that they had when they were 18, 19, 20. And then they leave that responsibility to someone else. Who that someone else is, we don't know. And this is where we have a lot of these issues raising its head because they have given that right up technically. And I hope that we are able to put legislation in place that will ensure that parents take that seriously, because I make no apologies about this, Mr. O.C. Parents must be parents to their children and not leave it to anyone else.
Right. Okay. So I had a few birthday shout-outs that I was asked to give, going over a little bit over time, but I'm going to do it anyway. So the person wanted to send birthday greetings to Mr. Mike Barrowman, also to the Cabinet Secretary Samuel Rose, Mr. Timothy Adam, Philip Clark. They're all celebrating their birthday today. And also to Glenn Fennell, who celebrated his birthday on the 30th of April. May God grant each one a blessed birthday, and may they enjoy many, many more he has ordained. Greetings being sent from Mr. Henry R. Solomon.
And just quickly, before we go, because I know that we've run out of time, but I want to give a little plug for the family event we having tomorrow night at Agriculture Ground, the gospel concert featuring international guest artist Tasha Cobbs, along with a lot of a number of other local church choirs and stuff. So please come out and support this event. It's free. We're doing this because it gives us an opportunity to bring our families together. So please come out and support this event. It's going to be an awesome show at the Agriculture Grounds tomorrow evening, starting around 6 o'clock.
Okay, and one more time, remind them where they can get those lovely T-shirts from.
These T-shirts is actually under the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage, and they can purchase them from the Intergenerational Hub, and that's right next to DHL, behind Price Right in the Industrial Park. And they have all the colors. We have 4 colors on here, but they also have blue. They also have red.
White.
Have white. Yep. So we have lots of colors. And if you want to buy one of each, please feel free to buy one of each, because this was the final color I needed today. Yellow.
Hashtag Caymanian proud.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
okay,
right.
So. Okay.
And today was also what we said to kick off the Heritage Month as well. And
that's right. Yes,
today was our 345 day. That's why we all dressed to support our culture and our heritage.
Well, I want to thank all of you and for all that you do and your various entities do to help to keep the Cayman Islands safe and to look out for those that are more vulnerable in our society, and with the emphasis, of course, on Child Month as well. Thank you. Folks, I want to thank all of you who listened in, who sent in questions or comments as well. Don't forget to join Mr. Charles Glidden at 12:15 for talk today. Have a great weekend. It's going to be a long one for me. I won't be back on air until next week, Wednesday as well. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to continue to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Doctor's Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. JN Money, from abroad to Yad. And Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
This is the People's Radio Station. Radio Cayman.